So we talk about software is a digital solution to a problem. And to illustrate software development lifecycle, STLC, I want to create an artificial problem, and then I want to solve that problem. And then I want to tell the story about that problem, how we step-by-step process solve that particular problem in a digital way. Let's assume there's a person called Lily, right? And she bought a laptop a few months ago from Best Buy, and the laptop was broken, and she takes laptop to Best Buy and said, hey, this laptop is broken. It was pretty new, few months old, and I want you guys to fix it, or I want to return it. What is the first question Best Buy asks? Do you have receipt, right? And she's like, I don't have receipt, but you guys know I bought from here, right? They're like, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to return or repair this laptop. And she bought it for $2,000. And the lady got a little bit pissed. She got angry, right? Earlier, I talked about it. When some people face problem, they get angry, they get frustrated, and they get mad at the world. But when some other people face problem, they're like, I'm facing this problem. What if millions of others have similar problem? If I solve this problem, I can provide that solution. So this becomes a business. So now she was going back, was like, what are the problems that we have around the receipts? Every time I have to keep the receipts, right? And I lose the receipt. I have so many receipts that I have to put them in the shoebox. I have the bag of receipts. Sometimes, accidentally I wash them, so I lose them. So many receipts. I go to Costco, I go to Best Buy, I go to Home Depot. And sometimes at the end of the year, I have to do my tax, and a sum of my receipt I have to do write off, but I don't have the receipt. How do I write off? Now I'm paying extra tax. This is pretty legit problem. Now, this is the problem from the consumer's perspective. Now, she's also thinking, what are the problems from business's perspective? Can you think about Costco? Can you think about Walmart, right? They all have this receipt printing machines. And assume that each machine will cost few $1,000s, and every year that machines will have maintenance, all the stuff. There's lots of costs associated to those receipt printing machines. And guess what? Every year, you have to use millions of rolls of receipt paper. Where the paper coming from? They're cutting the trees, bad for the environment. And then you have those inks, bad for the environment, right? All those costs associated to receipt printing machines and inks, bad for money, which is companies losing money, bad for the environment because they're cutting the trees and using the inks, which is chemical. And she's like, okay, this sounds like a cool problem to solve. If I solve this problem, now customers or consumers will no longer have, where's my receipt? How do I return? At the end of the year, how do I calculate my tax? They wouldn't have this problem. If I solve this problem again, now this businesses like Costco and Walmart and all 7-Elevens, they're going to save maybe hundreds of millions of dollars. So why not start a startup? So then what I'm going to call this company's name? She's like, you know what? Zenreceipt.com. Boom. Now you have a problem, which is companies are spending lots of money on receipt printing machines and the papers and the inks, right? And the maintenance of those machines. And you have another problem, which is consumers are not able to keep all their receipts. And you have this problem, and you have a goal called zenreceipt.com. Now, how do I go step-by-step process to solve that? Now, first of all, she talked about a couple of friends and she found a technical co-founder. Okay. Now, first of all, let's assume that she talked to a couple investors and want to do a seed round of investing. It's called angel investor, right? She was pitching her idea to a couple angel investors. Let's assume she got like $250,000 seed investment for zenreceipt.com. Now, what she's going to do? Now, assume that she doesn't know how to build software. She's going to go for a software development firm that is specialized on building software called Everly Hill Consulting. Now, she's talking to Everly Hill Consulting. Now, from there, we're going to illustrate step-by-step process. Now, in here, we're going to start getting into terminologies of software development lifecycle. She has an idea, and she is a stakeholder. What is a stakeholder? The idea is hers. The company called Zen Receipt is her, right? Now, who else is a stakeholder of this project? Also, the investors. They're the stakeholders of this project. In the software development, you're going to hear a lot. Stakeholders. Stakeholders are the people who own that project, who own that business, or who invested in those business is called stakeholder. Now, this stakeholder called Lady and her investors found a company called Everly Hill Consulting. When you start with Everly Hill Consulting, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to be like, requirement, right? When you call pizza shop, what they're going to do? What kind of pizza do you want? Is that meat pizza, cheese pizza, or whatever pizza, right? They're getting the requirement from the customers, and based on their requirement, they're cooking your pizza, right? What if you say, I want a chicken pizza, and they give you a beef pizza? You're going to be like, what the hell is going on here? Hey, I asked for this. Why you give me that? Just like that. Even in the software development, the first thing is getting to understand what the customers want. So now, in the Everly Hill Consulting, there's a group of people called business analysts. What business analysts do? Their job is talking to client and user or people like Lily. Hey, you want to build software, right? How the software should work? How do we log in? And then Lily start talking to the business analysts, and the business analysts will start taking notes of how this software should work. Now the communication gets started. And Lily said, my users should be able to create an online account. My users go to Costco or eBay. When they swipe their card, their receipt should automatically go to their online cloud account. And then at the end of the month, my users should be able to search by, okay, Home Depot. When they search Home Depot, all the Home Depot related spending is coming up with the specific store, specific date, how much they spend. Once they click, that receipt will expand and show the receipt. Or I can search by location. Hey, in Fairfax, Virginia, how much money I spent. Or I can search by the time, starting from August 1st, 2024 to August 31st, 2024, for the entire months, how much did I spend? These are the requirement, how my software should work, the specification of software. Now, there's an interesting thing. When Lily, as a client, talked to business analysts, what language they're using? It's like a plain English. But the thing is this, developers wouldn't understand the plain English. So now the business analyst's job is talking to people like Lily to understand what they want and write it down in English. So you have the first draft. But also business analyst's job is turn those English language, which is the initial version of the requirement document. Requirement document is literally the description of how this zenreceipt.com should work. So now business analysts will take that notes and turn those notes to a technical document called requirement document. Because developers cannot build application based on Lily saying, hey, I should be able to log into this application. It's not a technical language, it's English language. Business analyst's job is taking what customer wants, put it in a note, and then turn that note to a technical language called requirement document. Can you imagine when you build a house and you tell the architecture, I want a very nice house, right? Now, the construction developers cannot build that house based on, I want very nice house. They need to have blueprint, right? That is similar thing in the software development. You will have to have requirement document. Now, in this short conversation, what we have learned something called stakeholder, right? Or client. Who are the stakeholders? Lily, she owns that idea. She owns zenreceipt.com, and Lily's investors, stakeholders. Stakeholders went to a company called Everly Hill Consulting, and they're going to be the team responsible for building that software. Now, the business analyst team is going to be responsible to getting the requirement or understanding what the customers want. Right now, we have learned who are the business analyst team. Now, this process of business analyst team interviewing the client or end user and learning about how the software should act, what is the specific functionalities of software, like login, print my receipt, upload my receipt, take a picture of receipt, or calculate the entire money at the end of the year, how much I spent on Starbucks coffee. Whatever the functionalities that client is saying or end user is saying or the stakeholder is saying, business analyst is taking the note and then turning that English note to a requirement document. This is called requirement gathering process. Very similar thing when you go to restaurant, you will sit down. Waiter will come, serve what you want for drink, appetizer, main dish, right? They're asking to getting the requirement from you. Lots of businesses, they start with requirement, including software development lifecycle. The first stage of software development lifecycle is requirement gathering process. Now we will talk about the next steps in our next videos. Thanks for watching.